This is the Global News Podcast from the BBC World Service. I'm Janet Jalil, and it's 16 hours GMT on Monday the 23rd of February. These are our main stories. The International Criminal Court is determining whether the former Philippine President, Rodrigo Duterte, should stand trial for crimes against humanity. The UN appeals for more humanitarian assistance to help 200,000 civilians fleeing violence in South Sudan. Australia's Prime Minister says he supports removing Andrew Mountbatten Windsor from the royal line of succession. Also in this podcast,
the best thing for our business is if people love movies and television. And the best way you love movies is to watch them at home, in the theaters, wherever you want to watch them.
We talk to the boss of Netflix about the future of entertainment. People in positions of power cannot escape the rule of law. Those were the words of the prosecutor at the International Criminal Court as a long-awaited hearing began to determine whether the former Philippine President, Rodrigo Duterte, should face a full trial. The 80-year-old is accused of crimes against humanity over an anti-drugs crackdown which he oversaw while he was in office, in which thousands of people were killed. Duterte has spent nearly a year in a Dutch detention centre after being arrested in Manila and flown to The Hague. His decision not to attend the hearing has angered the relatives of those who died, with dozens of protesters outside the ICC as the hearing began.
We will be here in the ICC. We'll be here every step of the way until we get justice, until the police chiefs are there, until we see the changes that we want to see in the Philippines.
But Mr. Duterte's lawyer says he maintains he's absolutely innocent and the charges against him are politically motivated. Howard Johnson, who was the BBC's correspondent in the Philippines at the time that these alleged crimes occurred, was at The Hague.
I saw bodies on streets as a result of this drug war policy. I interviewed Rodrigo Duterte in 2017 and asked him about these so-called extrajudicial killings. And he said to me in a very fiery exchange that he said that he wasn't responsible for the killings themselves. He said that ordering the killing of drug addicts didn't mean that he was culpable for the deaths that we were seeing on the streets. I met his right-hand man, Senator Bongo, who crushed my business card in his hand. That was the reputation of the BBC in the country at the time. And we also had an exchange once between a lot of his supporters online after I made a documentary about Rodrigo Duterte, in which I received hundreds of messages threatening all sorts of things like death threats, following me on the streets. So this was a very threatening time to work in the country as a journalist.
Howard Johnson. Also at The Hague is our correspondent Anna Holligan, who gave us this update shortly before we recorded this podcast.
We have been hearing from the prosecution in court. They said that the killings weren't random or spontaneous, but part of a widespread and systematic attack against the civilian population. So this is all about Rodrigo Duterte's so-called war on drugs. The prosecution have been outlining their case. They said that he was at the heart of a common plan to neutralise individuals thought to be involved in drugs. One of the first things he did after becoming mayor of Davao City, they said, was set up the Davao Death Squads and instructed them to kill suspected drug users and dealers. Then when he was campaigning to become president, he said that he would carry out a similar policy, ordered the military to hunt down and kill drug criminals. And then, as president, they said he rolled out this campaign nationwide. It was called Double Barrel, and it was an effort to carry out extrajudicial killings that the prosecution said he wasn't prepared to give those suspected of committing crimes the same opportunity as Rodrigo Duterte, the former president of the Philippines, has today in The Hague, which is to experience due process. So they've been outlining the case right now. His defence team are presenting their opening statements. Rodrigo Duterte is not here. He has submitted a letter, I have a copy of it here, to the judges saying that he is too tired, he's too too old to take part in legal proceedings. He said he will forget within minutes. So that's part of the defence's argument, that he's at 80 years old, suffering from dementia. But these claims that he's not able to follow the proceedings have been rejected by the judges here. They say he's fit enough for these hearings at least to go ahead.
And the families of those who died
Yes.
during that so-called drugs
Yes.
war, he's been called a coward by some of them. And this is very frustrating for them because they say they've been waiting a long time for justice.
Exactly, years. And I spoke to one relative on the way in, and she said that she has been waiting almost her entire life for this moment to see him before the judges. And in fact, that was one of the things mentioned by the victim's representative, that in refusing to appear in court, or even via video link from his detention centre not far from here, he has done them out of some access to justice. There was also a very graphic image shown this morning of one of the victims in his partner's arms, dead after one of these alleged killings. So much more graphic testimony to come over the coming days here at the ICC.
Anna Holligan. Humanitarian groups in South Sudan say that